What's going on, people? Welcome to J Talks Chelsea and welcome to my match review for our disappointing 1-0 defeat in Turin last night in the Champions League group stage against Juventus. And what a disappointing result that was, as we now have back-to-back defeats and of course a very poor performance overall. So of course we'll be getting into the match review, talking about the match, going into some of the stats and some of the players and what happened. Now before we get into the video, if you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe, and if you do, why not hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on new uploads. Also, if you could, leave a like on the video. If you did, it would really help the channel and I'd really appreciate it. So let's start talking about the match itself, and of course we start off with the lineup, and we went for Mendy in goal with Christensen, Thiago Silva and Rudiger in the back three. We went for a 4 with Azpilicueta at right wing back, Kovacic, Jorginho in the pivot and Marcos Alonso at left wing back, and then we had Havertz, Hakim Ziyech and Lukaku up front. And I think that was a decent lineup overall, probably what I would have gone with to start the game. So let's go into the match and what happened. So for the opening 5-10 minutes, we were actually pretty dominant. We were controlling the game. We had most of the possession. We were really keeping Juventus into their own half. Juventus couldn't get out too much. We had a few chances. In the 6th minute, there was a sort of training ground routine corner sort of came in, and Lukaku, a bit of a poor finish really, and quite comfortable in the end for Chesney in the Juventus goal. And then, however, in the there was a few chances where Kova actually missed the ball and sloppily gave it away, and that led to a few half chances for Juventus. But overall, for the first 15 minutes, we were pretty dominant and pretty in control. In the 17th minute, Alonso gets a bit of a silly yellow card after sort of going with Cuadrado, and he sort of shoved him into the advertising boards. Bit of a silly card. I think Cuadrado made a bit of it, but again, a bit of a silly yellow card to give away. So after a bit more of controlling most of the game, in the 19th minute, however, Kovacic gives the ball away again. This is 3 times that he's given the ball away in the first half already, and that leaves Chiesa running through, but he just shoots wide of the post. But again, and there's a good few chances for Juventus. And then in the 25th minute, Havertz was running towards goal, and there's a great time tackle by one of the Juventus players. So that was a really good tackle by them. And there's really, from the 25th minute to 24th minute, it really became where Juventus were making more chances, and we still had most of the possession, but Juventus really getting a lot more chances, and we were being really sloppy with our play. We weren't doing well offensively, and then we were giving the ball away. So overall, we were quite poor. So we went in 0-0 at half time, and overall, again, we had most of the possession. We were doing fairly, okay in the possession. We were dominating, but we were really, really poor in the offensive phase, and we were just so poor, and we weren't creating anything with the possession that we had, and we weren't creating enough. The defence of De Ligt and Bonucci were just, they were just really snuffing out any sort of danger. We barely challenged Chesney at all in the Juventus goal, and we were just not really, we were pegging Juve back in the first 25 minutes, and we were really having a lot of possession, but we didn't really do much of it. And then Juve really grew into the game as the half went on. They were getting more chances, they were getting the better chances, they were coming close, and Juve made a few chances, and they were just so strong defensively, and we just couldn't break them down. And there was no real clear-cut chances for both teams. A pretty dead first half overall, but we just really couldn't create. Just didn't create enough going forward, and Bonucci and De Ligt just dealt with Lukaku in that first half, and it was a pretty poor performance in the first half. Now at half time, Ben Chilwell came on for Marcos Alonso. I don't know if this was for Alonso having a bit of a knock or a bit of an injury, or if it was tactical, but Chilwell did come on for Alonso before the second half. As we come in to the second half, and what an absolute disaster class, as 11 seconds into the second half and Chiesa makes it 1-0 to Juventus. We were still in the changing room. We did not get our head into the game at all. There was a decent header come down, and then one of the Juve players with a really lovely pass into the box took out like 3 of our players, and there's Chiesa just to smash it past Mendy. Great finish. And Juventus 1-0 up after 11 seconds, and we just completely were not in the game. We're still in the changing room, And yeah, what an absolute awful goal to concede. Defensively was just awful. Thiago Silva, with all his experience with poor marking, it was just an absolute disaster class and the worst start to the second half that we could have asked for. So of course, after the goal, we of course started to sort of control possession, as of course Juventus just started to sit back and really try and contain and try to hold that lead. And in around the 60th minute, we made a few changes, but first there was a yellow card for Ziyech just beforehand, and then the 61st minute we made a triple change as Azpilicueta, Jorginho and Ziyech all came off to be replaced by Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Nathaniel Chalobah and Callum Hudson-Odoi, as we went to, I believe, a 3-5-2 with Chalobah playing a bit of a defensive midfield sort of role, and Tuchel really trying to change up their triple change. We really tried to push for a goal, but really didn't come of anything, and that of course leaving a few gaps in behind, trying to get a goal, trying to push more, trying to take some chances, would leave a few spaces open. And then the 63rd minute, Bernardeschi for Juventus misses an absolute sitter. There was a beautiful ball floated over to Cuadrado, who plays a lovely ball into the box, and he just skies it. Really could have been 2-0 there. That could have killed off the game from there. In the 65th minute, Rudiger gets a yellow card, and then really for most of the next sort of 10 minutes or so, we just kept trying to make chances, trying to create stuff, but just getting nothing out of it. In the 74th minute, Christensen came off for Ross Barkley as we went to 4 at the back, so another change in the game that Tuchel made to the formation, which also saw Nathaniel Chalobah going in at right back. And after again having a bit most of possession, trying desperately to try and make some chances, trying to get a goal, in the 82nd minute there was some really nice play by Barkley, gets past a few players and plays a really good ball into the box, and Lukaku is in, and it's not the tightest angle, and he just blazes it over the bar, and a man of his quality, he should be burying that. And I think Bonucci did really well to try and put him off, but again, Lukaku should easily be getting that on target, and a massive, huge opportunity wasted from Lukaku. So after again having most of possession, trying desperately to create chances and trying really hard, we still couldn't come with anything. We didn't manage to find really anything apart from a Lukaku chance. And then in the 94th minute, a corner comes in, and Havertz, with a really poor header, just goes wide. He really should have done better on that header, should have got better contact. That should be going on target, as the game finished 1-0 to Juventus. So that was the game, and of course it finished 1-0 to Juventus. I mean, overall, we were really poor in this game, and that's now back-to-back defeats, back-to-back 1-0 defeats, where we have had only one shot on target in a combined 120 minutes. Really poor, not the best. And again, we were just so poor offensively. We just created absolutely nothing of clear-cut chances. We were so poor. We didn't have, there's not enough movement. We weren't trying to drag players out. We just could not break down that Juventus block. And again, we just never troubled Chesney. I don't remember Chesney making a save. He just comfortably catched any of the crosses. And again, it was just so poor. In the first half, we were just, we were dominating most of possession, but Kova gave the ball away a few times, and we didn't create enough in that first half as we really should have. And then the second half, we were just mostly poor. It was like poor crosses and poor balls that really just came to nothing in the end. And we just missed any of the few good chances. Any of the good chances we had, we just blew them as well. So we didn't take our chances. We weren't clinical with what we had, and we didn't create anywhere near as good as enough chances as we should. And in terms of Juventus, I think they came with their game plan and they stuck to it, and fair play to them, because they really got what they probably came for, which would have probably been like a 1-0, trying to scrape, try and nick a goal on the counter, and that's what they did. And they sat back. They were defensively very disciplined, very solid. They kept us from doing just about any clear-cut chances. They were defensively really good. And then when they got their chance on the counter, they took their chance. And what a chance was, of course, for Chiesa. And they could have had a few more. They could have taken some of their chances. But yeah, I think Juve, they just came and they did their game plan. They got what they deserved. So let's go through some of the match stats. And overall, we had 15 attempts to Juventus' 6. However, each team had only one shot on target. We had 8 corners to their 1, and we controlled most of the possession with 66% possession to their 34. We made 796 passes with 714 completed, with Juventus only having 363 with 232 completed passes, and there was 3 yellow cards for us to Juventus 1. So I'm going to start talking now about some of the players, and first off I'm going to talk about Kovacic, who was really poor in this game. He did nothing moving forward, and defensively in the midfield he was really poor. He gave the ball away about 3 times in the first half, and there were really poor chances that could have easily cost the goal, and he just didn't do much. I don't really remember him doing that much defensively. We know Kova isn't the best defensively anyway, and I just think he just really wasn't the best in this game. I also think Hakim Ziyech had a pretty off game. He did very little in that hour that he had. I don't remember him making too many decent chances, a few balls in the box, and that was really about it. He really didn't do much. He had a decent opening, first few minutes, but after that he didn't really do much. I also thought Havertz was pretty poor today. He didn't really create that much, had a few chances that he missed. I don't think Havertz had his best game as well. I think again, it wasn't the best game. Could have done a lot better with a lot of the chances that he had, and overall was again got quite bullied by a lot of the Juventus centre backs, and any chance he had was snuffed out by them. And then we're going to move on to Romelu Lukaku, who had a really poor game. He was honestly completely pocketed by Bonucci. Bonucci had him just all game. Even the odd chance that Bonucci didn't have him and he managed to get past him, he managed to still put him off. So it was a really good performance from Bonucci, and overall for Lukaku wasn't the best performance. And there's something I want to bring up with Lukaku. This is now, I think, the fourth big game this season, that being, let's say, Liverpool, Man City, Tottenham, and now Juventus as well. All these big games where he's really struggled. Even the Tottenham game where we won, he's kind of struggled against the defence, and I think he's really struggling against these big teams. He's obviously hasn't got the best service as well, but I don't know. I think he's struggling against these big teams. So I want to know what you guys think. I think he's been struggling in these big games. As for some of the subs that came on, Callum Hudson-Odoi was okay. He was okay on the wing, but didn't really do much. And again, I think it was more desperation to try and get a goal at that point. Same with Barkley, who made a few okay. Made a few okay runs and was okay and had a few moments. And then I think Loftus-Cheek was also okay and made a few driving runs. But other than that, they really didn't do much. And at that point, we were really just trying everything to get a goal. I'd also like to say that again, I think with this match, like the City game, we really missed Mason Mount and his energy and what he can bring to the team. I really think we're missing Mount, and I really hope he comes back from injury really soon. And now we're going to talk about some of Juventus' players. Let's start off with the goal scorer, the match winner, Chiesa. He was decent, he was really good, and he was causing us problems running through. I think he could have done a bit better on a few other chances, but on another occasion he could have probably got a few more goals, and that was a great finish, and he was really causing us quite a few problems. I also think that Juve's defence was just so solid. The likes of obviously Bonucci and De Ligt were just really dominating, controlling the defence, that we just couldn't create anything through them. Again, they were just defensively so solid, so disciplined, and they did really well, those two, just containing any attacks that we had. And of course I want to give credit, of course, to Juventus. They had their game plan, they stuck to it. They're very disciplined, very solid defensively, and as I said, they just tried probably to go for that 1-0, try to nick a win, and that's exactly what they did, and it is more than they deserved. And they had other chances, and they could have easily come out of this game 3-0 with some really good counter-attacks, and again, they were just so good defensively, and they just nullified us for the whole game. So there was my match review for our disappointing poor performance against Juventus in the Champions League last night. It was a really poor game, and as we know now, that's 2 defeats in a row, and really poor. 1 shot on target throughout both 90 minutes. That's really not the best stat. So really need to look to trying to bounce back now. We've got Southampton on the weekend. We really cannot lose that game. If we lose 3 games in a week, that's really not the best, and really need to try and pick ourselves up, bounce back, and really need to get a big win in a difficult away game against Southampton. Anyway guys, let me know what you thought of the game down below in the comments. I'd like to hear your thoughts. And I guess it's onwards and upwards. So anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.